And we are live. Welcome, welcome, welcome everybody to the Ango Show. It is September 17th, 2024. I'm so glad you guys could be with us today. Yesterday was a great episode of WWE Raw. We're going to talk about that. Plus, we got some very interesting stories to discuss. $170 million TV deal for AEW. That's going to be super fun to talk about. Guys, I'm so glad you're here with us. If you want to support the show, there's a couple different ways to do so. The first one being completely free. You can just simply click like. You could click share. You don't have to, but if you want to, you could. And if you want to support the show monetarily, you could do that by dropping a super chat. Any super chat that is $5 or more allows you to have TTS, which is type to speech, which means I'm going to get cut off by your super chat and I will be forced to answer it. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, a couple of great things happening in the world of the Ango universe. For example, merchandise, 15% off until the end of the month. And if you guys are interested, you could just use the code I love Ango. And if you love Ango, then you should definitely be dripped out in some Ango merch. And trust me, it's some good quality stuff. But again, you don't have to. I'm waiting for my shipment. My shipment's coming. It's on the way. Got some hoodies, some hats, some t-shirts. You know, we're going to be dripping out in swag. If it sounds like I'm not excited, don't get it twisted. I am. I'm just a little, I don't know, change of weather. It's kind of messing with me a little bit, but not a big deal because we're going to keep the show going. I'm looking at the chat. Shout out to our members. Cedric's in here. Laws is in here. Justin's in here. So many great people in the chat. Super excited about this one because WWE Raw continues to push the stories forward. How many times have I been saying that in the last few weeks? Or really the last few months? If you watch WWE programming, it is very clear that Triple H has a vision. And every single week he is building to make that vision a reality. And it is some really good stuff. Last night's Raw, not only did it push the stories forward, but what it did do was get me incredibly excited for Bad Blood. But what's also really interesting is at the same time that WWE is building up Bad Blood, they're building up WWE Raw for next week and the week after. And as they continue to do this, it truly means that WWE Raw is must-see. Now, with that being said, WWE Raw kicked off yesterday with CM Punk. CM Punk arrives to the arena. He walks through the tunnel. He cuts a promo. And guys, I like CM Punk. I've never really had an issue with his promos in WWE since his return. But yesterday's promo for CM Punk, it was honestly probably his best promo in WWE since returning. And I'm super excited to see that CM Punk got to do this promo. I thought it was a great way to open up WWE Raw. I thought it was a great way for me to get excited about Bad Blood. Because this feud has been going on for a while. And it's really hard to prolong a feud in pro wrestling. But WWE specifically has found a way to do it with Punk and Drew McIntyre. Now keep in mind, Drew McIntyre was not at WWE Raw last night. He was kept off of WWE Raw last night due to creative reasons. Nothing bad, no drama. WWE just figured they can go without Drew McIntyre. And I thought that was actually a good idea because it allowed Punk to deliver this great promo. So I was super excited about that. I thought WWE has kind of found a sweet spot when it comes to not oversaturating, right? Sometimes Drew gets a promo with no interruption, then Punk gets a promo with no interruption. Sometimes they just flat out brawl. But the thing about CM Punk's promo last night that I was really intrigued about was how much more excited it got me for Bad Blood. And I'm just going to say it like it is, man. Bad Blood is shaping up to be an incredible pay-per-view on paper. On paper. How they book the pay-per-view, the matches we get at the pay-per-view, we'll see. We still got a little bit of time until Bad Blood, but I want to give WWE their props for what they have done here, because it does feel like, to me, Bad Blood could potentially go down as pay-per-view of the year. And I don't know why. I don't know what makes Bad Blood so special, because to me, it doesn't it doesn't feel like a filler pay-per-view, man. And that's the thing, like, it doesn't seem just like some B pay-per-view, which it normally would be, right? Just some really good stuff here going into this pay-per-view, and I'm super excited about it. Super, super excited about it. Shout out to Chris Gladden in the chat. He's a member of the channel. He says, Ango, the only believable wrestling news commentator on YouTube. Love your program, brother. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate you. I appreciate all of you guys sticking with me. You guys are the best audience in the world. I literally have the greatest job in the world. All of these years doing YouTube, and somehow, some way, every single day, it just gets funner and funner. And it's all because of you guys, so I definitely appreciate that. Yeah, so the CM Punk thing was great. Honestly, CM Punk promo was great. Then we get Sheamus versus Pete Dunne. And holy shit, guys. Not only is Pete Dunne killing it on NXT, but Pete Dunne is killing it on the main roster. And I love this. I love this. Now, I don't know if you guys saw this. Maybe you missed it. Maybe you didn't. I don't know. But we had a moment with Pete Dunne when he makes his entrance, the little lower third graphic. There's been a lot of references from WWE saying Pete Dunne doesn't want to be known as Butch. You hear it on commentary. You see it in the graphics. The social media manager. It's playing into the character. I love it. This is a great match, guys. This is Pete Dunne and Sheamus is becoming a great, great series of stories just being intertwined. You know, Pete Dunne is one of those guys, like, eventually I want to see him become Intercontinental Championship. I want to see him become the champion. I want to see him hold that championship belt. I want to see him get a singles run on the main roster. This guy is so great. And, you know, the thing that WWE did incredibly well here was not only did they allow Sheamus and Pete Dunne to have a great match, but they actually booked Pete Dunne to win the match. So Pete Dunne hits like this crazy knee strike. He gets the win. A little bit unexpected of a finish, which made it even a little bit better. But this is exactly what I talk about, guys, with WWE, like, or just in general in wrestling. It is so important for people to understand that you need to position people in a way that allows them to look good through a period of time. And they figured out a way to do this with Pete Dunne, not only on Raw, but simultaneously on NXT. It doesn't seem like the version of Pete Dunne that we're getting on NXT is different from what we're seeing on the main roster. There's a lot of cohesiveness there. And I love that. The consistency is real. This was a fantastic match, man. A fantastic match. Sheamus is so good. And I'm just going to bring this up now because, quite honestly, I don't know how I feel about this, but I do think to a certain degree, Sheamus is potentially going to become a veteran. He's going to be the veteran that just puts people over. And I don't know if that's a bad thing or a good thing, but he's good, man. And I would like to see Sheamus also get into the world title picture at some point. Colin Hutton, hopefully I pronounced that correctly, dropped a $5 Canadian super chat. I don't know the currency difference. $5 in Canada is not the same as $5 in America, though. So that's probably why it didn't trigger TTS. But Colin says, Ango, I appreciate the content, but you sound horrible. Take this $5 and get yourself a cup of chicken soup from Tim Hortons. Get well, homie. Yeah, you know, the thing is, I'm just like a little run down, you know. It's the weather changes and shit. I apologize I sound like shit. But we keep the show going, baby. We keep the show going. I appreciate the 5. Colin, I appreciate the love. Thank you for the love. Tim Hortons is such a Canadian thing, but we got them all around Detroit too, so. Phone's going off. Got to put that on silent. Ah, what a day. What a day. Yeah, Michigan weather, guys. This is how it is. You know, it's we're going into the fall. We literally get like 40-degree weather, but then throughout the day it hits like 80 or 90, and then it eventually goes down to like 40, 50 again. Ah, nothing better than Michigan weather. But I will say this. Michigan's like the only state we get all 5 seasons or all 4 seasons or whatever in September. I live for the colder weather. I don't really feel like shit. I just sound like shit. So, it is what it is. But, Colin, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that greatly, my friend. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, Cam, you know what's up, bro. You in Michigan, bro. You guys get it. Guys, after Pete Dunne beats the hell out of Sheamus, we get Natalia versus Zoe Stark. I don't know if you guys remember this from last week. But last week during the stream, I was literally talking about how I want to see Natalia actually pick up wins and like actually have singles matches, not just be the veteran that's putting people over all the time. I don't know if WWE heard this, but I did see that WWE decided to listen because Zoe Stark lost to Natalia. Look, I don't know how I feel about the Pure Fusion Collective. Something is weird about it. I don't know. It doesn't scream the most importance to me. But I will say that this is a good example of WWE just having more women's storylines. And, yeah. We got another super chat from John Swazo for $1.99. He says, when are you giving us the heavyweight championship belt? My friend. This is funny. This is funny for a variety of reasons. Let me explain why. I told you guys, 100,000 subscribers. 100,000 subscribers, we do a massive live stream. I got sponsors and partners and companies that are lining up to give you guys gifts. But obviously, the main prize is the heavyweight championship replica belt from WWEshop.com. Listen, we got to hit 100,000 subscribers. That's how it goes. We're not messing around. We're not waiting. We're not rushing. When we hit 100K, that's when the giveaway begins. I'm projected to hit 100K next year. I think we could hit it sooner. But listen, man, I don't look at the numbers anymore. This is a business that super easy in the sense of like just sticking to the process. If you stick to the process, everything else falls in place. So we have 1.2 to 2.4 million viewers every month. Subscribers, you know, it's really just for the plaque. All I really want is the plaque. That's all I really want is the plaque. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. John, thank you for the $1.99. Right hand Cam, member for 21 months. 3 more months until 2 years. Absolutely insane. Cam says the New Day arguing was gold last night. Great seed. Oh, and we'll talk about that, my friend. We will definitely talk about that. So, let's see. Where was I at? Yeah, the thing with Pure Fusion Collective. Not really sure how I feel about that. Not really sure how I feel about that. Something about it just doesn't scream as important. It doesn't feel like it's that big of a deal. But I do like the fact that there's storylines going on without the title being on the line. So we'll see what happens. Natalia winning was good. I'm glad WWE did that. I'm super glad that WWE has found a place for Natalia on the roster. Again, not just being a veteran, putting over other people. And rightfully so, right? She just re-signed with the company, so that's a good thing. That's a good thing. We got Braun Breaker and Jay Uso. Yeah, I know everybody likes Jay Uso, and I like Jay Uso too. They'll be competing next week for the Intercontinental Championship, so this is not a match that's taking place at Bad Blood. And quite frankly, I stick with my original prediction. I think Braun Breaker needs to really hurt. He needs to hurt Jay Uso, man. He needs to get him out of there, move him to SmackDown so he could be part of the Bloodline. I think they should use that as an opportunity to write Jay Uso off TV. And that's why it should happen on Raw. But it was cool. It was cool. I think Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa and the GOD, I think they're going to have a great storyline with Jimmy and Jay when they reunite with Roman. I like Jay Uso. I don't know how they're going to go about this. Maybe they shock the entire world and give it to Jay Uso, but I don't foresee that happening. But it's a cool promo. Not that long. It's a nice little face-off. Plus, if you look at what happened to end the night, we'll talk about that too. That was pretty cool. We got the Judgment Day versus the New Day. This is where we got to give WWE props again for keeping the stories moving forward. Really, really loved what is happening here. So for those who missed it, the Judgment Day defeat the New Day. And first, let's call it what it is. It's a great tag team match. Just a great tag team match overall. We all know that the Judgment Day have not really been defending those belts. This is the first defense in like 60 days or something. There was a couple times where the New Day looked like they were going to win. But then obviously the Judgment Day got involved. And then what's really interesting is that the LWO came out to help offset the interference. And this is where I got really excited because we're going to talk about Big E returning, but this is where I get excited. Xavier Woods hits his finisher. I think it was on JD McDonough, if I remember correctly. He hits his finisher on JD McDonough, and then essentially what ends up happening is the referee is outside of the ring, too busy dealing with the LWO and everything, all the chaos with the Judgment Day. I mean, it was very clear that Xavier Woods had the match won. The Judgment Day take advantage of this, and, the New Day lose. On the same episode of WWE Raw, Xavier Woods is pissed off at the LWO. Kofi Kingston comes in, and he's trying to play it cool with Ray and the rest of the LWO. He's explaining to Xavier Woods that he asked them to have their back because he knew that the Judgment Day would do this bullshit. But there was something really interesting in this segment. They were talking about, and this is holy shit, what a moment for WWE. Kofi is not communicating with Xavier Woods. We know that. He's not being a good communicator to Xavier Woods. But there was a specific line backstage that was said that made me believe that Big E is returning. I don't think the New Day are breaking up. And this is all speculatory, but Xavier and Kofi are having this little backstage talk. And basically it just came down to Kofi saying, this is getting hard because it's just them two. They don't have Big E. And I got to give WWE props here because this entire time they've actually led us to believe that maybe Xavier Woods was going to turn. Whether that meant joining the Final Testament or just turning in general, they have gone above the story. They've gone about the storyline in a way that makes me believe this entire time it was designed to make us think that they were breaking up. Kofi Kingston wishing Xavier Woods happy birthday a day after his actual birthday on Twitter. Small little detail, but they want you to pay attention to the things that are happening even outside of the show. Clearly, there's miscommunication issues between Kofi and Xavier. Clearly, these guys are not on the same page, which, by the way, Odyssey Jones is no longer in the WWE. He's no longer in the storyline. So they have gotten to a point in this storyline where something is happening that we can't see coming. And I do think that is Big E returning to the company. And I hate speculating on this because Big E is obviously somebody who I think deep down inside, I do think he is, like, we don't know his situation obviously with his health. So deep down inside, it becomes a tricky situation for him. Like, can he even return? We don't know. So I do get a little frustrated about that. Because I have no idea what the hell is happening there. Zero idea what is happening there. And let me just say, too, by the way, with WWE and Big E, like, they got this, like, whole thing going on where Big E's been gone for a while. Why did it take WWE so long to start telling the story of them being impacted without Big E? I don't know. That's just a question. But I really, really love this. I love the storytelling here. If Xavier Woods, I mean, if you look at Xavier Woods' attire, he's wearing black, Kofi isn't. Like, they're just not on the same page anymore. Excuse me. So really dope. Really, really dope. I really love that. I thought that was really good. Guys, we're supposed to get a match between Braun Strowman and Big Bronson Reed, and holy shit. This was, man, this was good. This was good because it wasn't actually a match. The match gets called off. These guys go after each other in a way that was just so unique. Turnbuckles breaking. Barricades breaking. I mean, all this carnage. All of this, like, just back and forth. Like, I don't know how else to explain it. But then the WWE decide to do something even crazier than that. Bronson Reed throws a fan from the crowd against Braun Strowman. This was supposed to be a match. It wasn't a match because it got called off. I know WWE is too chicken shit to do it, but I would love to see the WWE put this on Bad Blood. I would love to see WWE do like some sort of unsanctioned match between the two. I just hope, however, WWE decides to go about it. They do have Bronson Reed win. It scares me that they probably won't do that. But that would probably be like the most ideal thing they could do. As a company, I'll say this. Like, WWE is so focused right now. And I love to see how their focus is. But this is where I get a little bit more scared with the WWE. Because I don't genuinely know if the WWE has plans for Bronson Reed to go over. And they're making Bronson Reed look so good in the process where it kind of makes me feel like they'll have Braun Strowman go over. But I love this. The chaos, the carnage. I mean, just really, really top tier storytelling. But also the execution was really cool. Talk about the crowd for a second. I mean, every single week, these guys are consistently getting great reactions from the crowd. So, I said, I think last week or 2 weeks ago, guys, I mentioned it. I said, this reminds me of Braun Strowman and Roman Reigns 2017. It feels like that, man. It feels like that. It feels like that. And that's a really good thing. That's a really, really, really good thing. So, super geeked about that. Guys, we had the Gunther, Sami Zayn thing. Cool little promo. Gunther basically just don't rock with Sami, which is fine. I didn't really care for this segment until Ludwig Kaiser got involved and beat up Sami Zayn. Basically, I just find it to be kind of like a weird storyline considering the fact that Sami was the one who beat Gunther for the IC title. Is Gunther being a little bit more threatened here because he knows that Sami beat him before? Excuse me. That's kind of what it feels like, though. But I love the fact that Ludwig went after Sami next week on Raw. Sami versus Kaiser. I dig it. It's going to be a fantastic match, but that just means Ludwig Kaiser is going to eat the pin, which sucks. Because Ludwig Kaiser is deserving of being a singles champion. 1,000%. Guys, we're not even finished with, talking about Raw. Io Sky defeats Bianca Belair. Holy shit. Totally unexpected. Bianca Belair and Io Sky having this match on WWE Raw. Kudos has to be given to the company. They gave them a little bit of time. They get to go out there and get their offense in. Everybody's being drawn, from the fan perspective, everybody's being drawn into the match because the athleticism is there. There's a moment where Belair goes for the 450 splash. Io Sky hits a knee. Then Bianca Belair goes for her finisher. I forget what it's called. It's going to piss me off. KOD, I think. Io Sky then gets the roll-up, the small package, right? She ends up winning. This is what women's wrestling should be like on WWE television. This is the way WWE should do it. It makes so much sense, dude. It makes so much sense. Really, really impressive stuff here. Really, really impressive. Really good match. Io Sky, Bianca Belair, the chemistry is great. Loved it. We got Damian Priest who beats Dominic Mysterio. I don't know what this is going to be like going into Bad Blood. Fun match. Fun match. The Judgment Day attack Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest at the end. And we finally got it, baby. Jay Uso. Jay Uso comes to the rescue. But to end last night's episode of WWE Raw, you know what they did? They had Jay Uso get speared by Braun Breaker. Sick. Sick, sick, sick. That was... good shit right there. That is some really good stuff. Just because of the dynamic with Jay and Rhea Ripley, you got Jay Uso then getting speared by Braun Breaker. I mean, just what a way to end the show. It's good stuff. I thought Raw was solid. We're going to take a look at the chat before we get to our next topics. If you guys have any super chats, it guarantees that your questions or comments will get read. And don't forget, a $5 or more super chat will trigger TTS. We're going to take a look at the chat. I saw something earlier that I really liked. Where was it? Alex Slavinsky said Kaiser is going to be the one to beat Gunther. Kaiser's in a relationship with Tiffany, so she is the one going to Raw. I could see Ludwig Kaiser turning on Gunther at some point. But in order for that to happen, it ain't going to happen now. I feel like they're going to save something like that for WrestleMania. Or a bigger pay-per-view, for sure. For sure, for sure. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break. We have some crazy topics. So this is what's coming up. I'm going to tell you guys. WWE has screwed over AEW in a massive way, and I want to talk about it. AEW's got a massive TV deal. We're going to talk about it. And we're going to be taking a look at the chat and interacting with you guys. Trust me, you do not want to miss the second half of this show. We will be right back. I'm going to go grab a water, pop a Tylenol. We're going to be Gucci. It's going to be A1. This is going to be fun, fun, fun. What's up? What's up? What's up? Woo! Alrighty. Let's get back into it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for sticking around. I want to talk to you guys about WWE screwing over AEW. I thought this was a very interesting report. It's going around all the dirt sheets. It's going around every wrestling news website. But it's also getting picked up by mainstream news. So this was really cool. PWInsider.com has reported that there were expectations that Meg Thee Stallion would partner with Mercedes Moné in AEW. After the two sides had agreed to do something together, Moné publicly mentioned the idea of getting the star in the ring, as they previously talked about the two doing something together in WWE. However, that was dating back to 2021. Now, WWE decides to step in and make a deal with Meg Thee Stallion for the new theme song for SmackDown. The song Never Play has obviously been met with a lot of criticism from fans, We talked about this the other day. I don't like the song. I think it's trash, but it makes sense for WWE to have that deal. Now, because WWE has done this deal with Meg Thee Stallion, a lot of people believe that AEW will not be able to bring in Mercedes Moné and Meg Thee Stallion together. And I think WWE knew exactly what they were doing by doing this. And I want to talk to you, chat. What do you guys think about this? If I could be perfectly clear with you, I think unless a deal is done, you probably shouldn't be talking about bringing somebody into the company. Mercedes has posted pictures publicly with Meg Thee Stallion for years. And I want to say it was last year, New Year's Eve, the ball drop. I don't know if it's ABC or NBC or whatever, one of those larger networks. They did the whole thing with Meg Thee Stallion performing. And I remembered on Twitter that day, it was trending about how a lot of wrestling fans thought Meg Thee Stallion looked like a WWE superstar. So, by the way WWE operates, they pay attention to everything. They pay attention to absolutely everything. They have a pulse on everything that is mainstream. That's how the WWE operates. So the thing is, you already have people talking about Meg Thee Stallion getting involved in wrestling just because of her attire. And then you see pictures of Mercedes and Meg Thee Stallion together. Yeah, WWE swooped in and made that deal happen. Now, technically, anything is possible, right? Technically, Megan Thee Stallion? Yeah, whatever. Meg Thee Stallion could have very well shown up in AEW. Technically, she could, right? But what is the likelihood of her having any involvement in WWE's competitor? What is the need for WWE to do that? Well, they have the theme song, which now means they can have her appear on TV in segments or whatever. And by the way, WWE has found themselves in a situation where they are probably a lot more intimidated by AEW than people realize. Okay? Now, WWE is not going to talk about it publicly. WWE will never talk about it publicly, but there is a way that WWE operates from a PR perspective. And I feel like it needs to be talked about that WWE is doing what they need to do business-wise. So,
Jeff Payton super chatted $5. Since you mentioned Judgment Day, do you see Liv being exposed as the gaslighting troll she is who has no real feelings for Dem Inc.?
Jeff, I'm going to get to that super chat in a second. Thank you. Just last thought on Meg Thee Stallion. The whole thing with Meg Thee Stallion in WWE's PR, they want people to not like AEW. And if there is something that could go to AEW that could be cool for AEW, WWE is going to try to do it first. That's what I think this all is. Jeff Payton, $5 super chat. It's his third super chat since we began live streaming on the Ango show. So let's give a round of applause to Jeff Payton. Thank you, Jeff. He says, since you mentioned Judgment Day, do you see Liv being exposed as the gaslighting troll she is, who has no real feelings for Dominic? Of course. 1,000%. 1,000%. Dom has been controlled by women the entire time. He's weak. He's weak. Look at how he connected with Rhea. Look how he's connected with Liv Morgan. Finn Balor announced it on Raw to Rhea Ripley that he was responsible for planting the seeds between those two. I think ultimately it's going to end with Dominic having a broken heart. It's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. This is the type of stuff that WWE... Listen, WWE has found themselves in a way, like, in a weird way, they found themselves under a little bit of scrutiny because people are like, love triangle storylines suck. But this is like the one love triangle storyline that has actually been really good. Really, really good. So, yeah, I think eventually it leads to Dominic not having anybody by his side. Liv Morgan is just stabbing him in the back. She's conniving. She wants the belt. I don't think she genuinely loves Dom. But look at Dom. Because of Rhea, he burned his relationship with his father and his mother and his sister. And because of Liv, he burned his relationship with Rhea. And eventually he's going to be burned by Liv, and he's going to be lonely. He's going to be real lonely. I think it's good stuff. This is a good storyline. I can't wait to see where it goes. But it's a long-term storyline. So, gotta put on your seatbelt and sit back and relax and enjoy the drive because it's a long one. Thank you, Jeff, for the super chat. I appreciate it. Very interesting stuff there. Guys. Let's talk about that AEW TV deal because this one is huge. John Orand at Puck.com seems to be very credible these days. He's come out with a very, very interesting report. It's the first time we've heard about the numbers surrounding AEW's TV deal. He says, insiders are telling me that a formal announcement could come as soon as next week, barring any last-minute challenges. It looks like it will be a 4-year deal, but 3 years being guaranteed, plus an option. And the $170 million per year number floating around wrestling message boards is apparently in the ballpark. Wow. $170 million. Okay, let's just do the math really quick because I'm not a mental mathematician. $170 million times 3 is $510 million. I say 3 because 3 years are guaranteed. Okay. That's good.
Ronnie Southern super chatted $10. As far as Bronson versus Braun, I could see Bronson getting the win in a special kind of match, and Braun start to question his life and career decisions, causing him to reunite with the Wyatt family.
Okay, we'll get back to the TV deal thing in a second. Ronnie's $10 super chat says, as far as Bronson versus Braun, I could see Bronson getting the win in a special kind of match and Braun start to question his life and career decisions, causing him to reunite with the Wyatt family. Ronnie, I would normally agree with you, but we talked about this the other day on the channel. And the Wyatt 6, unfortunately, there's only going to be 6 members. And based on all the newest teases and vignettes and everything, I'm really getting the impression that the 6th member is going to be Alexa Bliss. So I don't think Braun Strowman will be reuniting with them. However, I would love to see Bronson Reed go over and then utilize this as a way for Braun maybe trying to reunite with them and to join their family, only for them to turn on him. That could be really cool. That could be a cool move for the storyline. But I just don't see it possibly happening. I just don't. Which is unfortunate. Unless they want to call it the Wyatt 7. But Bray's original vision was Wyatt 6. Anything apart from 6, I feel like WWE would be screwing them over. So, we'll see how that goes. Thank you, Ronnie Southern. Thank you for the $10 super chat. Appreciate you. We got another super chat from Superman Bass Fisher for $5. He says $170 million is the same deal they had previously. This is in regards to the AEW TV deal. I do not recall AEW getting paid $170 million per year. I do not recall that being the situation. But for those who don't know what we're talking about, maybe you're just tuning in now. Puck.com, a.k.a. John Orand from Puck.com, he came out and he says that barring any last-minute challenges or changes, the AEW TV deal looks to be around 4 years. 3 years are guaranteed, and the number floating around is $170 million. Okay, like I said, I don't recall AEW getting $170 million a year from Warner Bros. Discovery previously. I don't recall that. But what I will say is this, because it's super important. $170 million times 3, because 3 years is guaranteed, right? Guaranteed. That's $510 million. Let's say it cost $1 million to produce an episode of Dynamite. I mean, this TV deal is going to put AEW over. It's going to make them profitable finally. And I think one of the biggest things that needs to be talked about here is, and I read the comments and I talk about TV deals, this falls in line exactly with what I have been saying. I think anywhere from 100 to 150 per year would make a lot of sense. Let's say 170 is the exact number. I mean, this is going to make AEW a profitable company, and that's what they need. That's what they needed. They needed to get to profitability. I think wrestling fans, no matter what, I think wrestling fans, as soon as they found out that AEW was not getting $1 billion from Warner Bros., I think wrestling fans were going to use that as a way to talk poorly about AEW. But $170 million is quite impressive, right? There's a lot of people talking about ratings and low attendance, and yes, I agree, the ratings have gone down, the attendance has gone down, public interest has gone down, but I have been saying since day one, AEW provides live content 52 times a year just for Dynamite. That doesn't include Rampage and Collision. So they are producing so much content for Warner Bros. Discovery, and within their circle of advertisers, Warner Bros. Discovery feels like it is valuable. Wrestling fans can't seem to understand that or accept that, but the reality is live programming is valuable. Now, my assumption is that AEW will not officially announce this with Warner Bros. Discovery until after the NBA thing is done. So I would say next week makes a lot of sense. Technically, the NBA, NBC, Amazon thing, I think that goes through Friday, the 20th. But I think by next week we'll get the announcement. $170 million is a great number. It makes AEW profitable. That's what they needed. It is not cheap to produce content, but it's also not cheap to get some of the talent that they're getting. But if you're getting $170 million per year, it goes to show you guys that what I've been saying has been accurate. Excuse me. It's not about the low attendance. It's not about the low ratings. It's about producing enough content that's valuable. AEW is not the number one company in the world. They'll never be the number one company in the world. I feel like they've hit their ceiling. Maybe that's a controversial take, but I feel like they grew as much as they can grow. The reality is there is a demand for live content, and AEW is consistently providing live content. And as long as they keep their actual fan base, they will continue being valuable. And I think it is very understood that AEW will never be number one. I'm sure Warner Bros. And I'm sure Tony Khan would want that to happen, but I think the reality is they know that's not going to happen, and that is completely okay, because you could still have a very lucrative business without being the number one in the world. So when I see AEW's new TV deal being a thing, it goes back to what I told you guys before, months ago. Expect AEW to be on TBS, TNT, and True TV. Expect them to have something going on with HBO Max. I've been saying that before AEW even signed with Warner Bros. Discovery, that you should get your hopes up because it's going to happen. And like I said, we're addressing the super chat. $170 million is not the same deal that they had previously. I do not recall AEW getting $170 million per year before. So you have to remember, $170 million per year, 3 years is guaranteed. But if they get the next year, that's $680 million. $680 million. That's impressive. So, what does this mean long term? I think you're going to see AEW overspend a lot because of talent. I think that is very possible. I think WWE is going to force AEW to overspend on retaining talent. That is true. I think you're going to see AEW pay-per-views on HBO Max or Max streaming service. But I think also at the same time too, it's going to be very, very similar to WWE. I think you're going to see AEW get away from certain deals. I can see AEW being restricted with Fight TV now. So the way I'm looking at this is that long term, AEW has a new home. And then, by the way, you got to keep in mind that AEW very well, could be in a situation where they end up signing another TV deal with Fox or whoever else wants AEW Shockwave. And that deal will be a lot less. It's not going to be $100 million. It's not going to be $80 million. It'll probably be like $30 million, $40 million. It will probably be on the same level as NXT and the CW. So, this is good for AEW, bro. I don't know how anybody could look at this as a bad thing. It's actually a good thing for pro wrestling. It's a good thing for pro wrestling. And then what I want to see happen after this is TNA get a better TV deal. And TNA will not even get anything remotely close to what AEW is getting. Nothing remotely close. But TV networks want wrestling, and they're willing to pay for it. And I think that's a really, really good thing, man. Really good thing. My predictions for AEW has been 100% accurate since long before AEW even went on television. And I'm super glad to see that it actually worked out for them. Whether I like the product or not, it doesn't really matter. The point that I'm making is that it's a beautiful thing to see that another company was able to do this. We got another super chat. This one came from Darth Bane for $4.99. He says, Jay has just teased if he gets involved with the Bloodline, he wants to bring Sami with him. Yeah. And I've predicted that will probably happen too. I think that will happen. I think that is very reasonable. Now, just keep in mind, Jay, Sami, Jimmy, Roman together could be very interesting if Jacob Fatu becomes a babyface. Because then you have Hikuleo joining Bloodline 2.0 and Jacob Fatu switching sides. I don't know, man. I don't know. There's something special. Something is brewing. Something is cooking. Something is definitely cooking there, man. But for crying out loud, the moment that Sami Zayn daps up Roman Reigns and Jimmy and Jay, oh, if this guy could get them to crack character-wise like the old days, we're talking money, baby. Because that Sami Zayn honorary Uso is some of the best pro wrestling storytelling I have ever seen in my life. So I think we're going to see Jacob join the baby faces. Hikuleo will join the heels. I guess we'll have to watch back and see how this goes and see what they do. But I'm geeked for it, man. I'm geeked for it. Superman Bass Fisher also became a member. Welcome to the Job Squad, my friend. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, my boy. Yeah, man. What a show. Raw was good. AEW's got something cooking for tomorrow, it sounds like. NXT, CM Punk tonight on NXT. What is happening? WWE is getting closer and closer to the Chicago CW. Ooh. Now SmackDown's on USA Network. WWE is cooking. Ladies and gentlemen, I am super geeked. I know I may not be feeling 100% right now. I'm sure it's not the most enjoyable thing to listen to. But I will say this. I appreciate you guys sticking with me. Unless I can't talk, we're going live, baby. We're going live. NXT should be really huge tonight. A lot of whispers about some good things happening on NXT, so obviously I look forward to talking about it tomorrow. I'll have news videos out today. I'll talk more about the TV deal in an upcoming video on the main channel as well. We're going to talk about the pros and cons. So many good things, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for sticking with me. Thank you all for the super chats, and thank you all for clicking like on the stream. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I sound terrible. I know. But we doing the damn thing, baby. Y'all know how we go. Y'all know how we go. Guys, for the first 2.5, 3 years of going full-time on YouTube, I only missed one day because of a funeral. Just remember that. We grind out here. So we keep grinding. We'll keep doing our thing. Alex, Chester, Anthony, Ronnie. Oh my God, there's so many people in the chat. Ryan, Dwayne, Santana, Darth Bane, Cam, Keith, Samuel. So many more. Shout out to all of you guys. Thank you for pulling up today. Cedric, thank you for pulling up and being a mod. You're a real one. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the Ango Show live. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.